Hello and welcome to Lydia Hawk Designs. Today we're going to make a crochet Pokemon Footbag case. These are the cases that I used to sell with my Pokemon Footbags, or hacky sacks if you prefer. They're adorable and the case fits right over it. I've had a lot of fun selling them over the years. It's not really cost effective to make and sell them, but I've always just done it for fun, and I had to finally stop because I just don't have that kind of time anymore. But someone suggested that I create a tutorial on this particular Pokeball case. And I'm going to treat this tutorial like you're brand new at crochet, from the slip knot to weaving in the ends. And if you can follow along with my modification, then you can still make this one. This one was created for the older Apple earbuds with the cord. They mimic the old Apple containers that would allow you to insert your earbuds and then wrap the cord around. And then in this case, you could seat it, close it, and it's a keychain for your wire earbuds. But a lot of earbuds are Bluetooth anymore, and this is not the best. It's a good construction, but it's not what I would like it to be. It's still good though. And again, if you can follow along with my tutorial for the modification, then you can definitely also make this one. I'll have the instructions for both in my pattern. The pattern is only $1.99, but if you watch this tutorial, you can follow along for free. If you like my videos, then you can purchase it for, again, $1.99, and as long as you register for the website, you can go to my accounts, and any download, even free downloads, you can download an unlimited number of times. In this case, I found a toy at Party City called Mashems. The plastic fillable container is the perfect size. It's literally the exact size that my cases are. As you can see, Pikachu fits in here great. Pikachu is a pattern that you can buy, and you can watch the video tutorial at lydiahawk.com. You pretty much have to watch the video. My freeform patterns are very difficult, so the video is free. It comes with the pattern, so this fit perfectly. If you wanted to go buy one of these, I guess, but you could also paper mache one. You would just use a balloon, and you would blow it up to the size you want, minus maybe a couple of centimeters. You have to remember that paper mache is going to add bulk. So you'd fill up the balloon to just so big, mount it, and then just take glue or hodgepodge and paper and create a ball that you let completely dry, pop the balloon, take it out, and then cut it in half, and it would serve the same purpose. I'm probably also going to use some fabric glue to make sure that the yarn sticks really well to this ball. And of course, this is my Pokeball Footbag, or hacky sack, and this pattern is free. Just go to youtube.com/Lydia Hawk Designs. If you would like a paper mache tutorial, then I will make one. Okay, so what materials are we going to need? We're going to need 4 skeins of yarn. In this case, now see, in my instructions I have Red Heart Soft, but some of this is Karen. So I've got color A is red, color B is black, color C is white, and color D is gray. Size H8 crochet hook, size F5 crochet hook, stitch marker, and tapestry needle. So let's get started. So with color A, we start with a slip knot, and we want a long tail so we can weave in the end. So let's leave about 6 to 8 inches, and we're going to take our index finger, cross our yarn like this, and then go in through. Okay, so we're going to cross it like this, go in through the top and pull the side attached to the skein through. That's our slip knot. And we're going to put this around our crochet hook and secure it down. Great. It says with H8 hook and color A, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into first chain space. So the very first chain space we made right next to the knot, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull it through all the way through. And always make sure your tail stays off to the side and you're not using that for your beginning case top. Round 1, single crochet 6 into ring. So right into the center of this ring, we're going to single crochet 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, slip stitch into first single crochet. So our very first single crochet is this really prominent darling right here. So we're going to go right into those 2 and yarn over and pull all the way through. And then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to place our marker. So that marks the beginning of our round. Round 2. 2 single crochet into each single crochet around. So again, we find that very first prominent, you're going to see one that looks kind of hidden here. You're almost right on top of it. We're going to go into the next one. This is the first single crochet and we're going to go in once and we're going to go right back into that same one and do that again. And we're going to repeat that all the way around, 2 into each one. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and right where our stitch marker is, it says slip stitch into marker space. We're going to remove that. We're going to slip stitch into that same spot where the marker was, which means pulling it all the way through, chain 1, place marker. Round 3, single crochet 1, so right into the next one, 1, 2 single crochet into next single crochet, so 1, 2, and we're going to repeat those steps, 1 into the next, 2 into the one after that. We're going to slip stitch into our marker space, so remove your marker, slip stitch into that spot, chain 1, place marker. Round 4, single crochet 2, so 1, 2, and then 2 single crochet into next, so 1, and then into the same one again. And we'll continue with that pattern until we have 24. At the end, we slip stitch into our marker space, chain 1, place marker. Round 5 is single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet into the next. And these increases are making a lovely wide circle that will turn into a bowl shape when we stop increasing our stitches. So all the way around, we will continue this pattern until we have 30. And then, as usual, we will slip stitch into our marker space, chain 1, place marker. Now it says round 6 through 7, single crochet 30. So now we're ready to make the bowl shape. So right into the next one, we're going to single crochet 30 all the way around. And then we slip stitch, chain 1, place marker. Round 7 is exactly the same. Slip stitch, chain 1, round 8, single crochet 30. This one's a little different because we're going to switch colors at the end. Let's get to single crochet 30 and then revisit. We have completed our 30 single crochet. So now we're going to grab color B, which is black. Now it says slip stitch into marker space. And then it says with color B, chain 1. So remember, leaving a nice long tail for weaving in the ends. I'd say a foot or like 10 inches on this one, because we're also creating the seam for our case to open and close. Making sure you're not using the tail. We chain 1, place marker. Round 9 is repeat round 6, so we're going to single crochet 30. It's going to be a little loose at the beginning, so just gently, after you get your first one in, just go in and gently pull on the loose ends, not too much. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just keep going all the way around until you have 30. Okay, and the end of round 6 is the same. Slip stitch into marker space, but instead of chaining 1, which we're not going to do, we're going to bind off because we're finished with our bag. So cutting a nice long new tail, we're just going to pull this through, which creates a knot, and now we're finished. We have the first half of our bag. We're going to need the black tails to secure the edges of the top and the bottom of our ball, but we don't need the red. So let's go ahead and weave in the red. So now I have to cut this one, leaving a tail always, so you have plenty of yarn to weave in. If you're new to crochet, we always weave in the ends on the wrong side. So this nice pretty decorative side is the right side. This more kind of unrefined side is our wrong side. And we just tuck it in so that it's secure and we're hiding. So you just go in and out. And you can go for as long as you want. You don't have to weave in the entire tail. But it's a good idea to just make sure that you kind of go back and forth in a zigzag pattern. You just don't want it to come unraveled. And you don't want it hanging and catching on anything. So you just back and forth until it is in there really well. And then cut the last of it. We're going to do the same for this one. And since we're actually weaving in the beginning tail, we'll close the hole a bit if we can. Although it's not really a big hole, but if we start around the outside, then it will close it a bit more. I'm not going very far on that one. And now we've got our Pokeball top with 2 long threads of yarn. The Pokeball case bottom is white and is identical with the same black color change at the end. So for time's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out this part. If you still need to follow along with white, there are chapter markers and a time code in the description. So just go back and follow the red part of the tutorial, but use white. And we'll come back to the next part. Now we have 2 halves here that we have to put together. And this has been a tricky exploration for me, only because we've just got this one row of black, and if we really want to make this sturdy and we want to hide the black, we kind of just have to go back and through over and over through just this top layer. So the first thing I want to do is take my top and bottom. I'm going to get these loose ends out of the way, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use one on my tapestry needle. Now here are the knots. I'm not going to put them right on top of each other. I'm going to put them right next to each other. And to make sure that I'm even, I'm going to go right in through the bottom of the knot, just the top layer of black. And right next to the bottom of my case, I'm going to go in the knot, or I'm going to go into the stitch right next to the knot on this white side. I'm going to pull that all the way through. And we just want to create a nice solid seam here. We don't need a ton of stitches, but I would like to use at least 6. So that's 1. Then I'm going to go into the top 2 stitches of the next, and then on both sides, and then go through, and then 1 more right here and go through. Now I'm going to go back through the stitches I just went through, including this under the knot on the red side, and then 1, 2, 3. And it may seem like a lot at first, but it's really not. And you see how thick that is now? Now to really make this sturdy, I'm going to do it with all of the ends of thread. And I'm going to go right back with this one into the knot area on the red side. And then to hide it, I'm going to have to thread it through on the wrong side, just under those black stitches. So if we do this with all 4 tails, back and forth, making it secure, and then we just run right straight through and cut, we are going to have a nice invisible seam. And since I'm already on the red side, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to finish red. Just back and forth. And in fact, I could end my stitches on the other side, but I'm just going to end over here again and do the same thing and just go through the back end just a little ways, just to make sure they're hidden. And now we're going to do the same thing over here. Gets really thick through here, but that's good because it means that it's really knotted with thread and it's not gonna fall apart easily. Just going right through those bottom bits of black thread. Let's see what we've got. This is our bottom, this is our top. Look how well that fits right over it. And if you want to pull on the back just a little bit to make sure that it's not tucked in too much, that's what we're looking at. Okay, looks pretty good. Now for our Pokeball case button. Now the button goes on the red side because that's the top of our case. So what I like to do is I like to find the center area. So this is the very back. It's the big knot right there. You could measure this if you want. I just eyeball it. That is the center. So I'm going to take my stitch marker and I'm going to go ahead and mark just this one stitch. And if we want, and you've got an extra stitch marker and you don't want to have to do this again, you can go ahead and mark the bottom as well. All right. And now we're going to set this aside and grab our color D with the F5 hook and color D, and I'm going to leave a pretty long tail. This is about 14 to 16 inches. So we do the same thing we did before. We cross over, and then we go in and we pull through from the skein side. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into first chain space, which is right by the knot. We pull it all the way through. Round 1, single crochet 6 into ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to slip stitch into the first chain space, you can, but we're creating a button. We're actually going to use the wrong side of this. So I'm going to consider that round 1, and for round 2, I'm going to single crochet 8 into the ring, because I found that 8 covers what we already have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And by now we are past the knot and can bind off, and also leaving a really long tail. We just pull through, done. So now we've got 2 tails with which to attach to our and that center point looks really good. So I'm going to leave my stitch marker. Basically what we want to do is we want to go into, so if black is 1, the next one is 2, so right above the second, I believe. It's been a while since I've made one of these. And we're just going to go through it like crazy because we want it to be sturdy. And even though it's going to be sturdy, with handmade items, you always want to make sure that you are, let's start with this bottom one. You always want to make sure that you're very careful. Carefully open and close your bag. Wear and tear is going to happen, especially with yarn. So here's black. The bottom of black is right here. That's where we want to go through. If we go in, that's where, yeah. So our black stitch marker, very top is here. We want to go into the bottom of black. We want to be able to be close to the edge, but not on this very fragile edge. So we're going to go right into the bottom of the row of black and bring our button to the top. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and remove the stitch marker because I'm going to use this to go back through and then I'm going to go into the very bottom stitch and bring it through and then go back and make sure I continue to go back through that first insertion spot. Now we can kind of start creating a star pattern around our, I'm not going to go into this one, but I am going to go into the bottom of the next stitch here. Again, also through here, bring it up, and then bring it through, making sure I'm still going back through that very first insertion point. Now here and here and back through, and it creates a little star on the other side. And so you're going to see the seam, you're going to see the little, but it's a pattern, so it doesn't look unsightly. And it's nice and clean. Now the other thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and go back through this last stitch, but I'm going to go up through the center. And I'll explain why in a moment. But I want to end through the center. Now it's time to do the same thing with this end. And since this is coming from the top, we're going to go the opposite way. So we're going to start through the bottom of the button into one of our star areas and pull through. And then backwards will come up this way. Let's go ahead and do that again, especially through here. So I'm through button first, then the case, and then back through. And it's going to get really tight as you go, but that helps it be really sturdy. We're going to do that one more time. we're going to go through, just making sure we go through all of them, and then back through. Now from here, what I've found is the best way to close this. Forgive my button's not very clean. I'm doing this on camera, so I'm not paying as close attention as I normally would. From here, I knot them. And then with the tapestry needle, I go back down through the center and pull. Almost can't get through, but you just gotta have to. And then pull it. And when you pull it, again, my button's not very clean, I apologize. But when you pull it that final time, that knot ends up in the very center. And you can knot it again if you want. I'll just go ahead and knot it one more time and then cut it. And you can use a little fabric glue too if you want. If you want to just really make sure nothing's going to happen to it, you can go ahead and put some fabric glue right there. I just, you know, that knot just doesn't look very good. I think it's better to just leave it. It's already knotted twice. And now you can just cut it. Now for the button ring. With our F5 hook and color C. With again with a nice long tail, because you're going to be fastening this to the case. Slip knot. Chain 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Slip stitch into first chain space. Don't twist your stitches. So right from here, go into the very first chain space next to the knot and pull through all the way. Chain 1, place marker, single crochet 10. I like to go in through the top 2. There are 3. When you chain, there are 3 bits of thread, 2 in front and 1 in back. I like to go through the top 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you get confused because they can stretch, hold on to everything that's unworked, all the unworked chain spaces with your thumb and middle finger. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because they will stretch and they'll get harder to see. Slip stitch into marker space. Now with black, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut white really long. Now with black, chain 1. I'll make that one really long too. Now I'm going to single crochet 2 into each single crochet all the way around. So 1, 2, at the end I'll have 20. And I just want to make sure that I don't have any loose stitches. 3, 4, 5 is a little small for worsted weight, but it makes the button and the button ring nice and small compared to the stitches on the bag. And now we slip stitch into our marker space. Make a really long tail and bind off. Now we'll just pull on everything to make sure. And see, now it fans out nicely because you've got the extra row of stitches. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. We don't want it too far in, and we don't want it on this fragile edge. So here's the bottom of black. We're going to go in one spot just below that, and we'll start with our wrong side tail of black and just go in right like that. And I can remove the stitch marker now because I know our center's right here. So you see, we'll get these tails out of the way. You can see that the ring comes down just below the lip, perfect for our button. Now for this, we're going to hit the outside. So on the very next spot parallel to this insertion point, we're going to go in, and then we're going to go through these outer single crochet areas next to the knot. So there's one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go into the top 2 stitches, and then we're going to go in right next to, but we're going to go up now. We really only want to try to cover this area right here, or we're going too far below where we need to be. So we've done that. Now we're going to go back through here. And we're going to go through our knot, back through our first insertion point. Now we're going to go right here, parallel, and then through the next 2 loops, and then do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go in through the top, this area now. So we're recreating the edge of our ring through the bottom. And once we get to a point where we can move on, we'll do the same thing for our, oops, that's too big. It's way too big. We'll do the same thing we did for the edge of our case. So I'm going in finally right here. And now I just want to hide the tail. So I'm going to go through the edge on the inside. And then we can cut it. Now let's finish up black. We're going to go right through. First, make sure that knot is pulled through really good. Now in this case, since I've got 4 pieces of thread attaching, and I'm really careful with my cases, I'm actually going to end this right here, but you can go back and forth as many times as you want until the stitches won't let you anymore. I'm going to go ahead and end here. If I were making this for someone other than myself, I'd probably go through one more time. We tend to be rough with handmade items until we understand how gentle we're supposed to be. Now with the white, which is much easier to integrate, I'm going to go through here and then here and back through a little bit below the black. Now I can thread this in right into the same color inside the bag. If I were making this for someone else, I'd probably do a few more, but this is for me, and I'm very gentle with my own handmade items, so I'm not too worried about it. But it creates a nice sturdy ring and button. If you use a regular button on this side, it's even easier to use. So let's put our little Pikachu in here and see what happens. So we've got, you probably have to do this a few times just to loosen it up, but once we get the ring over it, that is a very secure button and button ring. And it looks just like a Pokeball. Got some little fuzzies. But look how cute that is. It's so cute. And if you love making stuff, it's adorable. So Now I get to see what this is like with the mache ball. It's a little tight, but I like it. And if I really want it to fit better, I would add one more row for top and bottom. And as much as I like this, I really prefer to use a fully crocheted. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to make a paper mache ball. I'll take a balloon and I'll make it paper mache so that it's nice and it's smaller. And again, I will include this in my pattern, but basically what you do is you continue, instead of ending at the last row of black, you create another row of black, but you just crochet into the back stitches. It creates that little natural lip there. So this is an unworked row of black. And then you just continue until you've got this basic pattern. And then all you have to do is insert your earbuds. Kind of mimics Apple's cases. And you can put most of it inside if you want. In fact, that makes more sense. Go ahead and make sure all the really hard pieces are inside. Then you go around the edge. You tuck in that very last bit. Seat it by pushing it in a little bit and then close it. This way you've got 2 rows of crochet on the inside, so it holds its shape a lot better. And as far as the ring goes, you could just slip it over one side or the other. And the back is so sturdy that it really... But honestly, crochet and knit items with a key ring, to actually use it on your keys is a little tricky because it really does fall apart eventually. So I'm not sure if the ring's necessary, but actually having a case for anything just that you can tuck into this thing and then throw it in your bag is good. And what's great about this kind of design is that whatever size ball you end up getting, you can accommodate by just adding however many increase rows you need and then stop and just crochet until it covers your ball. And if you need to go down a hook size because the ball's a little bit smaller, or if you need to go up a hook size. So if I did this in one larger hook size, that would also probably perfectly accommodate this ball. It's a fun project to play with. If you have to undo your work and start over, it's so quick too. It's pretty easy to put together. I did all of this in under an hour. So, you know, really pretty basic. And it would have been a lot faster if I hadn't been doing it on video. And as you see, after you open and close your bag a few times, you'll have some little pieces sticking out. You just trim them and it's fine. Mostly, these are for my foot bags. And if you have hacky sacks from other companies, they're all basically around the same size. I'll add the measurements, but you can also use these to store your foot bags. It's just a nice gift. If anyone is interested in more of my Pokemon patterns that I sell with a video tutorial, let me know. So there you go. I hope this has been a fun tutorial. If you have any questions, or if you want me to make suggestions for ways to accommodate larger balls or smaller balls, again, if you're using worsted weight, your balls are going to be around this size. If you want a big ball then you just go up in yarn and hook size. And there's always an equivalent hook size for the larger yarn. Like bulky yarn, size L and M are good. J, the J hook is really good. And the basics for the button and the ring are going to be the same. You can use the same yarn, but if you go down 1 or 2 hook sizes, they'll be slightly smaller. They won't swallow the front of your bag. They'll the same yarn so that everything matches, but it'll be slightly smaller so that it looks more aesthetically pleasing. Sort of like this bag here. Looks really close. It's the same yarn, but it's just it's 2 sizes smaller. And yeah, until next time, happy crocheting.